Wardell Stephen Curry is the greatest basketball player on planet Earth. I've been a guy who's not necessarily one to want to have this conversation during the middle of a season because, again, you can accuse me of being right now as a prisoner of the moment. I understand that. And I believe this is a topic you need to have during an off-season. Guys get hot. Guys get cold. Some guys really go off during the playoffs, which is where you're really going to make your name. As Kenny Smith once said, you make your name in your regular season. You make your fame in the postseason. I get all that. But right now, as we stand today, what Steph Curry is doing with this garbage roster, he's the best player in the world. LeBron James is not the same guy he was 3 to 5 years ago. When Steph, we thought had for a split second, was the best player in the world in 2016, LeBron reminded us in the playoffs and the finals that he's the guy. He's still the best player in the world. Well, again, he is not the guy he was then. So we can't compare 2016 to right now. Because arguably, we had this conversation last week, this is arguably Steph's greatest year of his career. Remind you, the Warriors were the worst team in basketball last year. They had the number 2 overall pick and the worst record in the league next to the New York Knicks. A year later, their roster did not get better. Steph is just healthy. And that's why they're 33-32 right now with a playoff berth. If we're talking about carrying a team, LeBron James can't carry a team like he used to. LeBron used to take any team, no matter how garbage they were, he would find some way to drag them to the finals through the Eastern Conference. He cannot do that anymore. For him to make a finals and win championships, he needs an Anthony Davis to give you 25-30 a game with 10-plus boards and be arguably the best player on the court. He needs a second ball handler in Dennis Schroeder, runner-up for 6th Man of the Year, give you close to 20 points a game, can facilitate. Montrezl Harrell's another key role player. Then you had Andre Drummond. This is LeBron's best team in terms of a roster around him in his entire career. He's just not the guy he was in year 15 or year 13 that he is in year 18. It's not a knock on him. It's just the truth. Father Time is undefeated. He's getting old. He's not the same guy he used to. Whether it's LeBron, Kevin Durant, we know Kevin Durant can't carry a team the way Steph Curry is doing it right now. Because everywhere he's been with a fully loaded, stacked roster, and that's how he wins. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's been a guy that you put on any team, and he's gonna get any team over the hump. He's not a guy who could carry a team either. We've seen it in San Antonio. He couldn't carry a team. He had the greatest coach with him in Greg Popovich. He had a loaded roster around him. Goes to Toronto. Mind you, they won 59 games before his arrival. Then he put them over the hump because he's such a significant upgrade from a DeMar DeRozan. Then they win the championship. Now at the Clippers, they had a disappointing playoff run last year. We all know the 3-1 lead. But look what they did in that offseason. He brought George Paul with him. That was the whole big thing. Oh, when he brings George Paul with him, that's supposed to do it, right? Didn't work. And then you have Lou Williams off the bench, who's one of the best 6 men that we've ever seen in the game. You had Montrezl Harrell last year. You have a Rough Rider and Pat Beverly. I mean, that team was so stacked top to bottom, and they fluked out. The only guy that I could say could carry a team like Steph does is nobody. It's him. Steph Curry's the best player in the world.
I see your point where you come from, where he's taking like a really, bad team and they're in, a playoff berth at the moment. But if this was a full season, technically they wouldn't be, holding a playoff berth as of right now. I have to see what Steph does in the playoffs. Anybody can go on a great stretch throughout the season. We've seen it, time and time again. And then when the playoffs come, the playoffs is a whole different ball game than what the regular season is. If Steph can go into the playoffs and upset some of these top-tier teams that all have championship aspirations, and you know who the teams I'm talking about, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Jazz, so on and so forth, then we can start having this discussion to the next level. But as of right now, I think we got to tone down expectations. I think you even said last week that this is not Steph's best season ever. 2015, 2016 was probably his best season ever. He's having an incredible run, don't get me wrong. But I'm still not going to hold, the prisoner of the moment, thing and, start. Now, don't get me wrong, Steph should get his flowers for the type of season he's having. But to have him as the number 1 player in the world, I can't give him that accolade just yet. I need to see it more in the postseason, and I need to see a decline in LeBron's game.